Please join me in welcoming Patrick this morning.
Most of you are familiar with the saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Well, these days, what happens in Vegas stays on YouTube, Facebook. There's over 100 million people on Twitter today. Are most of them wasting their time? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of people singing the praises of social media marketing these days. Is most of it just a bunch of hype? You bet. You bet. For the average person, they might be having fun. They might be being social. But they're certainly not attracting new clients. They're certainly not attracting new applicants to their businesses for the most part. Meanwhile, there are a few people and businesses that are using pretty simple but powerful strategies to explode their businesses virtually overnight. So that's what this session is about. My last name has 13 letters in it, so I made a slide about it. For those of you who might be curious, my last name is pronounced Schwerdtfeger. Schwerdtfeger. So I live in California, so I should have run for governor. I missed my chance. Your Facebook profile can subscribe to your blog. Your Twitter profile can subscribe to your blog. Your LinkedIn profile can subscribe to your blog. What does that mean? It means you can post something to your blog and click the publish button. It goes out automatically. Those of you who kind of overlay into the marketing space and have played with this, you'll know that driving traffic to a website is difficult. It's difficult. It costs money. And it can take time. Meanwhile, there's 100 million people on Twitter. Introduce yourself here first. Then bring them back to your blog. Introduce yourself on Facebook. Then bring them back. Introduce yourself on YouTube. And then bring them back and they can learn about you on a deeper level on your blog. Guys, it's easier. It's faster. It's way more effective. Who here, honestly, who here thinks Twitter is just a complete waste of time? Well, those of you who put your hands up are going to love this study. 40% of tweets were categorized as pointless babble. So the people who hate Twitter look at this and they think this is exactly why I don't want to be on Twitter. I look at the same study and I say that's exactly why I do want to be on Twitter. Because everyone's talking about this stupid garbage like I'm going to go get a taco. Who cares about the taco, guys? Less than 10%, look at the bottom one, less than 10% had what they referred to as pass-along value. 10% were good enough, less than 10% were good enough that people would share it with their friends. Guys, it's not hard to shine in this audience. Right? This is a low bar. This is a fairly low bar. So when I first published my book, this book came out, this book's done really well, I'm thrilled with it. It came out last March. And I summarized it, not this last March, a year ago March. I summarized it into 300 marketing tips. And I released those tips as tweets on Twitter. Think about this, guys. Here's a few examples. Conversations are markets. We talked about this. Participation plus facilitation equals opportunity. More tips at my website. What am I doing? Right? I'm trying to introduce myself on the raging river called Twitter. And if they don't care, that's okay. But if they do, they can click through and learn more about me. Guys, everybody in this room could write 200, 300 tips easily with the expertise you already have and start providing value on Twitter. She has a little flower store. Okay, it's actually not even a store. It's like a kiosk. It's on wheels, so she rolls it out. We built a Twitter audience for her, a local Twitter audience. That's easy to do. And she has an alert system set up. She gets an email every day with a daily digest of people in her audience who are tweeting the word baby, congratulations, wedding. And she can reply where appropriate and say congratulations from us as well. Come on in and get a free flower. Most people don't do it, but some do. And more than half buy something. What events could you get photos taken of and tag people on Facebook? Okay, where can you take advantage of this? I don't know, right? I'm not in your business. But I want you to think about what events are you holding with your current staff in positive situations, situations where they're happy and proud to be working for your company, where you can tag them in a photo. And in most cases, they're proud to be tagged in that photo. And then it goes out on their wall, and all their friends who are also nurses or techs or PAs for other companies, and they're not very happy, and they see you smiling in this photo, are going to say, wow, this looks really cool. We're talking about a totally crazy ADHD 31-year-old kid who inherits a wine store from his parents in Manhattan, okay? Called Wine Library. Now it's familiar. So what does he do? He starts a video blog and he calls it Wine Library TV. And he starts posting videos. They're crazy videos. I'm telling you, this guy's not your average dog. I mean, he literally eats dirt and chews leather to talk about the flavors in wine. I mean, he's not exactly your French, normal. But the young kids love this guy, right? He does these videos. In 18 months, a year and a half, he changed his family's business from $4 million a year to $60 million a year. Why? Because he demonstrated his expertise in a very clever way in the middle of a raging river. There's always the same thing that these people are doing. Blendtec is a company that manufactures blenders, commercial residential blenders. And that's the CEO. Actually, I met this guy. We both spoke at the same conference. Anyway, as the story goes, they have a factory in Colorado where they make big blenders. And there's a room in the factory where they test the blenders. And he walked into the room one day, and the whole room was filled with chips of wood and sawdust. And he's like, you can imagine, right? What are you doing? The guy's like, we're just testing the blenders. No problem. He's like, how did you test it? True story. He says, we blended a 2x4. And then the blender lit. 2x4 died. The blender lit. It was a residential blender. And he was like, oh my God, this is incredible. Right? We got to get this on video. Okay? So they started a campaign called Will It Blend? They started the campaign with $85 is what it cost to get this thing started. And they blended all kinds of stuff like marbles and chips of concrete, chunks of concrete. They blended a full-size rake. They blended the rake. And this here is an iPhone. They blended an iPhone. And the thing just gets demolished, right? It completely turns to dust. You should, in fact, on the video, they called it iDust. It's very well done. You can go to YouTube and watch it. Guys, their top-line revenue, not profit, top-line revenue didn't go up 100, didn't double, didn't triple, didn't quadruple. It was up 500%. Fivefold. Totally changed this company. Guys, it worked because it was remarkable. What do you do that's remarkable? What do you do that's remarkable? Throughout history, people looked at the source first and the content second. When people were evaluating information, they asked, who are you first? Then, what did you say? That's what's changed. People look at the content first. All that stuff, I've got 28 years experience. Who cares? I went to Harvard. Who cares? I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but it matters less than it used to. People want to see, maybe because you went to Harvard and you have 28 years experience, maybe that means you have better quality content. That's cool. I totally respect that. But that's not the point. It's not, they're not listening to you because you went to Harvard. They're listening to you because you have good quality content. Right? Even if you're a brand new company, if you have good quality content, that's what matters. And whether you like him or whether you hate him, either way, that's how this guy won. And by the way, if you don't like him, it's even more important to see what's going on here. It's totally cool if he's become controversial. I'm totally cool with that. But this would not have happened 40 years ago. It happened today. Why is that? Very interesting what's going on. So if people are looking at your content first and the source second, who you are second, then really what it boils down to is what is your content. That's it. That is it. That's the center of the whole thing, guys.